this is your May 2022 soul story. If you have a sun rising or your moon is in the sign, this is a reading for you. All my readings are general, but we will give you some astrological dates and intuitive messages that I hope are going to empower you through this next few weeks. This is Romy. Thank you for taking the time to tune in and support my channel. So we're into Taurus season, Pisces. We're going to open up May's reading with the energy of the Nine of Pentacles. Now, how you see yourself this month matters, okay? Because as we're into the activation of third house in Taurus season, the way that we think, the stories that we tell ourselves, how we're communicating within the self and outwardly, you know, has a huge influence on how we're feeling about the events and situations that are unfolding. Now, the Nine of Pentacles puts you in a strong, affirmative energy of just feeling, actually, I can do this. And I suppose that's the phrase that I really want you to kind of hold on to all the way through this month of May. I can do this. Because yes, let's recognize that we are in eclipse season, which means that there is going to be a big cleanup operation taking place. You know, things are coming to a head. We need to draw a line under certain situations. There's a lot of karmic influences by way of the contracts that might be existing within specific situations and connections. We have those hellos, the goodbyes, and it can feel a little bit destabilizing at times. We also have a Mercury retrograde in fellow mutable sign, Gemini, coming in on the 10th, but you're going to be feeling that right from the beginning of the month. So why it matters in terms of how you see yourself is because what's being said, but most importantly this month, what's not being said, can really lead you down some rabbit holes if you're not careful. So we need you to be standing strong and having a really empowered sense of self this month. And I suppose in some regards really making peace with the fact that no one ever truly receives your energy in the way that maybe you would like or that you intend or indeed that you expect. And that doesn't have to be something that's necessarily negative or that you beat yourself up or get overly sort of upheavaled in your energy about. It is an invitation more often than not to just trust more in what you're receiving about what's right for you. Nobody knows better. Now, this is a month where I feel there is some big news on the horizon for you, and I want you to take the validation of what it's going to bring. I want you to use it to make you stronger and to feel more determined in your outlook. So that phrase, I can do this, is really going to be coming up. Now, yes, that might mean some of the news that comes in is unexpected in ways that means you're going to have to make some adjustments. There may be some family situations that are, sort of arising that needs to be dealt with. There's a kind of spontaneous and a sort of last minute and sudden sort of feeling all the way through May, and oftentimes with retrogrades our plans get shifted and moved, so trying to be as much as you can adaptable and making the most of situations that you find yourself in are really going to help you to see how far you've come in terms of your own emotional responses to things. Now, the 9 and 10 of Pentacles coming up at the right at the beginning of your reading this month also suggests to me that, you know, the focus that you put last month in Aries season around your stability, thinking about your sense of worth and wanting to make changes and address the energy in relation to that is starting to pay dividends already. You're starting to, even if you're not witnessing the physical manifestation, actually feel within yourself, you know what, like my deservedness, my ability to be able to draw these things towards me, I'm actually really starting to feel into that. And persistence this month really matters. Taurus energy is going to help you to do that in terms of your manifesting. I suppose it's as simple as saying, you know, do I have the thing I want or do I not have the thing I want? And so my mind is either focused on perhaps the lack of it, but that can still come in from a place of anticipation, of planning, of strategizing, and how can I make it work, and feeling the possibilities that exist within that, or starting to feel the presence of it coming in and the shifts and changes that's taking place, especially in the body, because as we've moved out of some of the energy that has been working with you in Pisces season and a lot of the personal planets in your sign, we're now coming into this grounded energy of Taurus and a lot of the personal planets in Aries, which is saying, like, you know, now that we know our why, This is a time about the how. How do I make this happen? How does it feel? What's the next step? What is the action that I want to take in this moment? And so your desired reality, we want you to be focusing on entering it fully, embodying it completely, and then really anchoring it in. And as these stories that you tell yourself, the stories that are really shaping you, they're supporting you, they're keeping you moving forward, or they're limiting you, they're harming you. And so this really strong emphasis, especially in that retrograde energy of Gemini, which of course rules the third house. We've got the Page of Swords coming up to emphasize this point. It does matter about the details. You think you can sort of cut corners almost, and just like, through the course of a day, I'll spend a couple of minutes thinking positively, but the rest of the time I'm sort of bound up, obsessive, or looking back to the past, or getting myself fixated on worry or doubt, or all of the reasons why it can't happen. And really what we need to do is tip the balance and tip the scales. Now, Venus is going to shift into Aries on the 2nd of the month, right? So here we have, from a relationship perspective, a much more assertive energy, quite a passionate and intense energy, and one that has a little bit more free-spiritedness around it. So you might feel a little bit more open to the idea of sharing things that are really heart-driven, but there's also this sense of a little bit of frustration that can sort of boil up in regards to that, especially if we have some lost in translation moments because of this retrograde energy. The first week in May is really auspicious. We have Jupiter sextile to Pluto on the 3rd of the month, still in your sign up until the 10th, so making the most of that. And then Sun conjunct Uranus coming in on the 5th, which is a once a year aspect. And so here we have the opportunity for some really profound, transformational, positive breakthroughs. Now, coming off the back of that solar eclipse in Taurus, I think there was something by way of a wake-up call that has really led you to say, okay, affirmatively, I need to deal with this, and this is how I'm going to do it. Remember, in third house, it's a lot of like tactical, short-term decisions that we make. How do I get from A to B? I know I have the big picture and the big vision in place, but I also need something in the interim that's just going to support and facilitate me kind of keeping on track, because I have a sense there's going to be a lot of distractions through the month of May for you, Pisces, and if you're not careful, they could give you a little bit of a wobble, and I don't want you to lose your focus, because very soon something that you've been incredibly invested in is about to give you an opportunity to take some really immediate spontaneous action and kind of see like a huge leap forward with it in a way that might surprise you, actually. So you could really gain some ground if you felt like you've been stuck or something's sort of been plagued with setbacks or disappointments. This is a month where you need to have a stop doing list over a to-do list. Now, the Six of Cups, of course, has us looking back. The nostalgia of things is important. But again, back to this aspect of the stories that you've told yourself, because so much of what has already been experienced is impacting now how you're allowing things in. Now, when people show up from the past or things come back around to be reevaluated, readdressed during retrograde season, it really matters how you see yourself in this moment. Okay, I'm repeating this, but it's important because you have an opportunity here to make a different series of choices and decisions. And all of that is building this incredible resiliency within you through the course of this month. Now, when Jupiter shifts out of your sign, it's going to move into Aries on the 10th of the month, right through to the 28th of October. But you're going to get a chance to have a bit of a review about what it meant for you in your sign at the end of the year, okay? But in Aries, of course, we're looking at second house energy for you. So there's a big emphasis around your material possessions, your sense of self-worth, the income that's around you. And so there'll be a lot of shifts and changes and expansion in this area of your life. You'll also get a little bit of a preview as to what's coming up in terms of 2023 from some of this energy. So it's going to be very interesting to kind of take a check-in with. We also have this full moon lunar eclipse coming in on the 15th, mid-month, in the sign of Scorpio, 25 degrees. You're going to be tired around that moon, I feel. I kind of pick up a little bit of just sort of feeling a bit wrung out, and maybe where some of these distractions and then some of these sort of, I feel like people being really dramatic And so it sort of has the capacity to send you in a bit of a spiral, because you know, your sensitivity is sort of feeling into what their nervousness or fear is that's being activated. So, you know, extra attention around your boundaries or ensuring that you can ground yourself. Remember, this is about what we need to release in order to kind of be able to step up. Three of Wands. Now, there's some positive aspects astrologically with that lunar eclipse. We have Pluto, Mars, Neptune, all favourably aspected. And it means that we've really got this action that's being led by faith, but at the same time a desire to actually act. So you're going to recognise at that point, I think, particularly what stories you need to get shot of. Okay, this is so important in terms of what you've been telling yourself about yourself. This clear out is really going to help you to start to communicate differently. What you might find is that you're changing something by the way that you're expressing yourself. You might choose a new platform, you know, through your business on social media, for example. You might flip from writing to moving to more of a speaking situation. The way you connect into personal relationships might change. So if you feel like you keep coming up against a block and trying to communicate or relate to somebody, there might be a sense of like, okay, I've got to let that go. It's not progressing. It's not moving anything forward. Now, some of these shifts and changes might be temporary, just to kind of clear the stagnancy or kind of allow and facilitate like a release and a kind of wrapping up of a particular cycle. So don't get too concerned at like, actually, this is not what I want for the long term, because remember, there's that sort of tactical short-term feeling about a lot of what's taking place through the course of this month. But this is going to be significant, I think, for some of you in the way that you are connecting to other people. The Three of Wands is saying that there are things that are coming in on the horizon and you're going to get sight of it. Like I said, that big news that's on its way. Now, with eclipse energies, sometimes it can feel like we're a little bit destabled with the ground beneath our feet. You know, it's that deconstruction energy. Remember, Pluto went retrograde at the end of April. So the emphasis around our personal power, the influence that we use in regards to that, or how we're coming up against that with others, you know, further highlighted with that Scorpio moon as well, is all being put under the microscope. And the Three of Wands suggests, I think there's also an invitation to step up here. You're more than capable, tells me the Nine of Pentacles. But do you see that within yourself? Because this is where you get to a stage where you're the one that's standing in your way, Pisces. And if you want more for yourself, not just now, but moving forward, there is an opportunity through the course of this month to kind of just really take it and own it and run with it and say, do you know what? Yes, this is mine. I claim it. I can do this and I claim this. So I feel a lot of people are looking at you differently. They're starting to see your capabilities in new areas or in new ways. Even within relationships that have been around you for a very long time, I think you're also demonstrating like a new level of mastery in regards to sort of how you're expressing yourself. And that goes a long way to improving your confidence as well, that you're in the right place, because you might have had some questioning as like, is this the right kind of group? Are these the right friendships? Is this the right environment or job for me? Is this the right relationship? And that kind of sort of slight apathy or ambivalence to kind of situations that, you know, perhaps you'd invested a lot in previously has maybe thrown you a little bit of late, because you've started to question or doubt the direction or their intuitive nudges that you'd had up to this point. Again, we've got this cup here that's showing up that's not quite come in yet, you haven't seen sight of yet. Sometimes when we sort of go into that kind of slightly zoned out, vacant energy, and it can feel almost at times like a bit of mundanity and boredom. And again, it's just like, how do I bring that sort of fire and that energy back into this area of my life? It might not be across the board for you, but there might be something specific that you're really struggling to connect to. Sometimes in that sort of checking out energy, it's just a way for us to process. And that's important because excuse me, as we come later into the month, the Sun in Gemini from the 20th, and we go into 4th house for you, the pause and the assimilation is very significant. We need to take time to integrate everything that we've learned. And sometimes the chaos of the 3rd house, all of these choices and decisions that we're making, new plans, short-term sort of tactical moves, but this, you know, complete reevaluation of our language, and how it's shaping us. It's just, we need to take a step back and kind of really think about, all right, what does this truly mean for me now? So bear that in mind. And there's a very sort of soul-soothing, kind of inner parenting, nourishing energy that comes up toward the second half of the month. So that Four of Cups for me delivers an opportunity for you to just take some time out to check out and have a little bit of that space to process. So don't let anyone kind of rile you or trigger you and make you believe that you're not committed or not invested or not showing up. Sometimes this is the very thing that you need in order to kind of get back and sort of bring your best to the table. I don't see it lasting too long, but you just might have 3 or 4 days through the month where you're just like, nah, this is not for me, and just kind of really feel completely in a sort of space, a headspace where all focus is lost. It's very temporary, okay? Just keep that in mind. Now we also have, in addition to both Venus and Jupiter moving into Aries, Mars shifting into Aries on the 24th. And this will also help with kind of refocusing your energy and your drive. Mars loves to be in the sign. Where there has been setback or disappointment or kind of a lack of understanding as to why somebody did what they did, why they kind of chose to go about something in a certain way that I guess in some regards they knew would upset you or hurt you or purposefully kind of block you. And, you know, that's a little bit sad to say, but I feel like sometimes we, you know, experience the roles that people are destined to play in our pathway because the triggering does support an advancement of our own healing. What I do want to say in regards to this is, even though you may feel in this situation, well, there's no winners here, like you did what you did and now where does that leave us? Okay, what I'm going to remind you of is that how you see yourself now is everything. So if you see yourself as the victim in this, if you see yourself as being somebody who was wronged, then it puts you just into a lower vibrational energy, and it perhaps is going to cast back experiences and memories of where that's happened before, and then you get super locked into an old narrative again. And if we're breaking things down, if we're deconstructing, if we're drawing a line and clearing things up, we have a moment in that situation to pause and just go, okay, you know, this happened. You know, it doesn't have to stop me from what I know is right for me. It doesn't have to slow me down. It doesn't have to change the way that I see myself. It just has to be a recognition that somebody else is going through something that has led them to such a disconnected place in themselves that they felt that was the only option and the only way that they could move forward. And that the disowning of their own energy has projected onto you, but actually you don't have to hold on to it. You can recognize it. You can say, well, that doesn't feel very nice. Thanks very much. I'd rather you took your energy back and put it elsewhere, or rather dealt with it yourself. But honestly, this is a time to really allow the constant clearing and the management of your own energy hygiene to be first and foremost in your mind, because there are important things that you need to get done this month, right? And I think there's a sense of you feeling, if you tap into that Nine of Pentacles, like incredibly proud of yourself in terms of the progress that's going to come in different ways for you. And that directly affects, you know, your sense of stability and security. Now, in the third house, there's also an emphasis around siblings and neighbours. So some of this, you know, might be playing out kind of close to home in that regard. You know, but certainly I feel it is also to do with, as I said, what's been said, but also left unsaid. And, you know, we can really start to go into kind of obsessive thinking on that, especially when these retrograde energies, you know, have us all sort of bound up. Now, Eight of Cups suggests there's a moving on energy that comes through here. But what I like is it's moving on from this disappointment or setback or the energy sort of projection of someone else. What that does is it reminds you of, this is where I'm going and this is why I'm doing it. And honestly, like through the course of this month, I have you sort of in this place of just increasing like clarity and determination to say, do you know what, nothing will stop me at this point. And it might not come in as fast as I want it to. It might not be giving me all of the details, so I have all of the plans or the strategies in place. But one thing I know for sure is I'm not staying where I am, and it's not going to be as it is. Now, there might be aspects of your life that are working sweetly. That's beautiful. That's you in that energy of presence with your desires and your manifestations. So let's just amplify and expand more of that. But for those parts that are not where they should be, there's a determined bull-like Taurian spirit that we can adopt this month that just says, I'm going to do what it takes, and I can do it, and I will. And I think there's a decisiveness with that Eight of Cups this month for you to let go and release and move on. For the sake of your sanity, frankly, Pisces, it's just like you can't stay stuck anymore. You can't wait for anyone anymore. You can't be bound or held back by some of the things that have limited you or have made you feel like you weren't going to have the opportunity or you couldn't do this. It's just not an option. So as we make our way towards the end of the month, we're going to welcome a new moon in the sign of Gemini. Here we have the Knight of Swords, and charging forward is the energy of the day here. I really like this for you. I feel that there's a certainty and almost like a bolt of brilliance or magic. And sometimes when we're in retrograde energy, we can have kind of last minute magic show up because it's things that were unplanned. And so where we have a little bit of space in our diary, or we keep ourselves flexible or adaptable, that's when things can come in that surprise us in the best possible way. So yes, there are a lot of distractions this month that can cause you to feel a little bit unsure and doubtful, but at the same time there's this clarifying, driving urgency that also says, okay, like I know that this is the direction. And I see you just kind of being really direct with yourself and others. Now, sometimes he can come in a little bit aggressively, the old Knight of Swords, but actually today I just want to say I feel that this is exactly what you need to kind of step out of that Four of Cups and just get you focused again. I don't see it aggressive. I see it as change maker energy. I see it as a really profound catalyst. I see it as messages that are incoming that make the difference. They make the difference. So coming up toward the end of the month, and remember we also have Venus shifting into Taurus on the 28th. Again, she loves to be in that sign, natural ruler, and so everything is felt more sensitively, and we want to have that immersive experience. So as we're setting those new seeds of very deliberate intention, you want to get into the body, manifest from there. How does it feel to know that this is happening? Because these new stories that you've now created for yourself are your reality, and that's how you really need to look at it. Now, you may well have somebody, either air sign or someone else, who's kind of charging in and just wanting to show you, here's what's possible, here's what you can do, here's where we can go, this is what's ahead on the horizon. And I feel like they're bringing this incredible sort of energy that's just fast, and it might feel a bit disorientating, especially if you've sort of, been coming out of that kind of energy of the Four of Cups, or if you felt a bit disorientated or disconnected in other ways. So again, there's an awful lot of processing, and it's like you're trying to keep up with everything at the end of the month. It just feels like it's all happening a little bit fast. Listen, you can do this. You can. Okay, you have to just kind of throw caution to the wind a little bit, is what I want to say, in relation to what might be showing up toward the end of the month and who's presenting that kind of an energy for you. Give yourself a chance to see what it's like on the other side. Give yourself a chance to experiment and to say, I've got to try, because what is the alternative? What is the cost of not trying? I'm always going to have that what if, and I don't want that for you. So let's have a look and see how your oracle cards just want to reflect this reading this month, Pisces. Okay, now all the decks I use are in the description comment section underneath, okay, if that's of interest for you. Okay, you have the bud, potential, promise, it's about to happen, keep going. Beautiful. I think this is very resonant with what we've just been saying through your reading. There is this sense of urgency, but also just being right on the precipice, right on the edge of something coming in, landing, materializing for you in a way that you need to keep persistent and keep going. You need to keep nurturing it. You need to keep believing in it. You need to keep owning and claiming it. So seeing yourself in a space of being absolutely worthy of what it is that you want, how you see yourself matters. Yeah. Okay, your Moonology card for this month, Pisces. Let's have a look. Now we also have the two asteroid goddesses shifting energy this month. Ceres moves into Cancer on the 15th, the same day as the lunar eclipse, really helping to bring extra nourishment and allow us to reconnect to our roots. So might be again a lot of things going on around that time. that are sort of casting your mind back. Maybe even a deep desire to want to visit somewhere from your childhood or a place that was very significant for you in the past. But we also have Vesta in Pisces, your sign, coming in on the 24th. And here, you know, you're going to feel the benefit of her working in your energy. You'll be looking for more spiritual sustenance. You need to be careful you're not going to sacrifice yourself or move into that savior complex, but keeping that inner flame burning is so important. Now, your Moonology card is the new moon in Aquarius, open up to change. You will have been activated back at that new moon earlier in 2022, and so really there was like a turning point that happened then. There may be a sense though that May is just when things are starting to really rev up or get going in that regard, and you're really starting to sort of feel the urgency, a little bit of the pressure, I think, as well, but also hopefully some of the anticipation and excitement of what that's going to mean for you personally, okay? But we have to then open ourselves up, open our mind, open our heart to how things could be different, or what is possible for us, you know, even if it feels like it's going against absolutely everything that you know to be true or that you can see playing out in front of you. It has to be a month where your resiliency helps to deliver your faith, helps to prepare you for a future that can actually be so much of what you want. And you get a choice always as to where you're going to orientate your attention, yeah? Let's have a look at the colour card for you. Oh, gorgeous. Lemon. Access innovative thinking. I love this colour. Wow. It's just so vibrant and energizing, isn't it? And we want you to feel energized by the changes and what's taking place. You know, this innovative, thought-provoking, disruptor, kind of pioneering energy is all around you this month of May. And you can really deliver for yourself and start to express yourself in new ways, access higher knowledge, information, you know, seek ways of being educated and using that to kind of really help prepare you for what the new future pathways look like and feel like for you. Now, the lemon also brings kind of a level of sharpness. So I think there is a sharpness to your thinking in spite of the haze of retrograde. That clarity is there, but there's also a sharpness to people's words, you know, Page of Swords coming through, and again, some of that disappointment coming up. So, you know, sometimes that can be a little bit of a bitter taste in our mouth, but again, you're being invited to access thoughts, ways of thinking, and interpretations that are coming from a higher plane and a higher expression, so that you can find a deeper sense of tolerance and release. So you're just not holding on to that. That is not a good energy for you this month, okay? Now, I also have my own oracle deck coming out, Pisces, Life Soul Vision. At the end of this video, I've done a little screen grab so you can see the full deck and get an extra little bonus message. The link to pre-order the deck is also there if it resonates with you. Can't wait to start using it with you in the next few weeks. Thank you to everyone who's supported the campaign as well. So this is a general reading for the month of May. I'm just going to invite you to think about a personal question now, Pisces, we might not have covered in the main spread. And we'll pull a couple of cards for you here. If you are new, this is an extended reading that we do for 20-25 minutes, and we'll go into deeper insights into the main reading and also cover off your personal question. You can find the link for that in the description, the comments section underneath. It's a way to support my work. It helps me to continue to deliver the free readings every month. And if the reading resonates, I really appreciate your support in joining me. Okay, Nine of Pentacles comes through with the King of Cups, water energy here. And the Wheel of Fortune, interesting. Eight of Pentacles. We have the Star coming in, lovely. Nine of Cups, nice cards coming through here. King of Pentacles. Okay, now that deconstruction energy of the Tower, breaking down, breaking open, breaking through, it's always eclipse season themes that we work with. Another Page of Swords coming in there. And Knight of Swords, wow. News that might shake you a little bit, but we'll have a look at that in the extended. Hierophant. The World. Two of Cups, beautiful. All these tens coming in your reading and the World. Wow. A lot of completion energy coming through here. And another Three of Wands. I really love when the cards just clarify themselves, you know, it just strengthens the messages coming in. Okay, Knight of Swords, King of Swords, Seven of Cups. One more for that, Nine of Wands. Okay. All right, Pisces, thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to wish you a beautiful month ahead. If you are interested in coming on for the extended, I look forward to continuing this conversation. Be sure to check back in through the month. Please do make sure you're subscribed. Drop me a like and a comment. Again, it helps to support the channel. And hold on to see your extra screen grab card from the Life Soul Vision Oracle. Thanks so much.